I'm Commander Vinny Montez, Boulder County Sheriff's Office. Vinny, Vinnie Montez, Montez. Good afternoon. Today we're out here at Loggerman Reservoir. We had a fire earlier. Today started at 3:03 p.m. in the area known as the Tabletop Mountain, which is at approximately the 5100 blockish of Nelson Road, and that's on the south side of that 100 block. We had an initial report going to Boulder County Communications of a grass fire of approximately 300 square feet, and which at this point from fire management crews on site grew to approximately 30 to 35 acres. No structures were damaged, and Boulder Fire Management, left-hand fire, hygiene fire, Boulder Mountain Fire, Longmont Fire, Lions Fire, Boulder County Transportation, 2 seats or 2 air tankers and 1 Type 2 helo from the state all responded in to help suppress the fire. The areas were evacuated east of the fire. The boundaries of the fire were evacuated between 55th Street on the west side all the way east to 63rd, Niwot on the southern boundary, and Nelson Road on the northern boundary. They were able to get up on the fire pretty quickly. Just moments ago as we were pulling up here to meet with y'all, they did the all clear announcement back to all the residents in that area, so they are allowing people to go back in, and they are pulling the roadblocks as we speak. And that's where we're at. Can we go into, do you guys have any questions for me? I'm happy to answer them.
I mean, the wind's really blowing. Does that sound like the best thing, all clear at this point?
Well, if the fire people are at this point saying that we're good, I trust that our fire people have obviously, dealt with a lot of fires recently. I think that we can trust that. I was up there, it dissipated considerably while I was up there, and I know they had a lot of assets going on there, including dropping the seats and also the helo doing drops with the water buckets and so forth. I know the wind is still high, but that's what the fire team has decided at this point, that we're okay to pull that, and they've launched the all clear.
On the flip side, are there any conditions or circumstances today that you think allowed them to get a handle on this so quickly?
Well, we've had, as you know, yesterday we had, I think, a total of 3 fires here in Boulder County, and that was moving kind of quickly, and so we've had the assets drawn by. We're really, I would say, sensitive to making sure that we're on top of the fire as soon as they come out, especially on red flag days, and we want to make sure that we get out there and we've got a handle on it. So to answer your question, yeah, we're very sensitive and responsive to it right now.
Sir, what was the initial call?
The initial call, what I have is a grass fire, approximately 300 square feet, and that was the initial call. I don't have any much more information than that at this time.
From a homeowner, or?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay. In terms of proximity to the closest city, was it closest to like Niwot? What would you say, in terms of population?
I think it was kind of equidistant between Lyons, Boulder, and Niwot, actually. It's kind of right off the foothill area. Tabletop Mountain is where they have those large satellite dishes and so forth. So kind of right in the middle between all the cities in the northern part of the county.
You'd listed off a number of different agencies that all kind of mobilized at once. Is that a lesson from the Marshall fire that you guys are all kind of in communication, ready to jump quickly now, or?
So our fire group and specifically the Boulder County Fire Management and all the fire agencies within Boulder County, they have a lot of memos of understanding, mutual aid agreements. So when we get large scale things like this, that's a normal response to get those mutual aid agencies. And I also want to say that that list that I listed off was not exclusive. That was just the ones that I could gather before I came out here.
Sir, can you describe what we were seeing then before we saw you with the horse trailer activity?
So yes, so initially when the fire came out, the area where the polygon, what we call the evacuation area between 55th and 63rd, and also Niwot and Nelson Road on the north, those areas in that surrounding area also have a lot of population of horses, especially on Nelson and also 63rd. A lot of people board their horses at different places up there, so a lot of those people were helping to come in. Our animal control specialists were coordinating their response because they've dealt with this in the past before, so they've got a pretty coordinated effort to get those horses out of there.
You a little worried? I mean, it's April. I can remember 10, 15 years ago, it seemed like in April we were covering fire after fire. I mean, what's the concern level?
Well, I think that we're just concerned that, we need to make sure we're continuing to educate people. When there's red flag days, there's no burning whatsoever. We're coming into the hotter months, so that's going to be drier fuels and so forth. We want to make sure that everybody's taking the proper precautions, and I'll just give a announcement now. You know, there's no doubt in my mind some point in the future here in the summertime we're going to go into the fire ban season. So really adhering to those things and not putting people in jeopardy. As we know, through the wind, fire moves quickly. I think that the high point of that was the Marshall Fire, where that was really the high point of, like, once that wind goes, it really pushes that fire. So we just need to be safe, because no longer is it just out in the open areas, but it gets into the urban areas kind of quickly, especially when that wind is pushing. So we're just asking people to be extremely careful and cognizant of their neighbors and just follow the rules as things continue to move into the summertime.
You guys were able to work pretty quickly today. I know Friday is going to be high winds, about 80 in the high 80s. Are you guys preparing now for Friday, any possible fires?
So our fire management team, especially the fire management group within the sheriff's office, they're always coordinating to make sure they have crews available to respond to that. We have seasonal people that come in addition to full-time people, and we are obviously very aware of the situation coming up on Friday, and we're going to do our best to be able to respond to that. The fact still remains, we don't know where that's going to be in case a fire does break out, so we'll just respond like we always have and do our very best to make sure we're protecting the people within Boulder County.
Talk about the conditions up there. What's it like?
So up on Tabletop, it's similar to where we're at right now. They call it Tabletop. It's a very flat area up there where it started, and it's also probably, I would say, middle of calf to knee-high grasses, very dry on the top, very open and very sparse. Not a whole lot of structures or anything like that up there. Any other question? Sure. All right. Thank you guys very much.